Rain lashed against the windshield. The old truck rumbled down the deserted highway, headlights cutting through the darkness. John squinted, weary from the late shift. He just wanted to get home. The digital clock on the dashboard blinked 2:17 a.m. John sighed. This back road was a shortcut, but tonight it felt ominous. The storm had whipped up quickly, turning the familiar route into an alien landscape. Every dark tree seemed to loom, every shadow felt alive. He rounded a bend, the headlights catching a lone figure huddled in the parking lot of what used to be Millie's diner. John slowed down, peering through the rain-streaked windshield. It was a woman, her back turned, a dark silhouette against the neon glow of the flickering diner sign. John pulled into the parking lot, the truck's headlights illuminating the woman more clearly. She was dressed in a simple dark dress, her hair plastered to her head by the rain. She didn't turn, didn't acknowledge his presence. He hesitated. Should he offer her a ride? It was a bad neighborhood, even on a good night. This storm wasn't letting up, and she was clearly stranded. John rolled down the window, the sound of the rain instantly filling the cab. "Excuse me, Mum? Need a lift?" he called out, his voice almost drowned out by the storm. The woman slowly turned. Her face, pale and drawn, was streaked with rain, making it hard to read her expression. John felt a chill that had nothing to do with the rain. She nodded silently and moved towards the truck, her steps slow and deliberate. John reached over and unlocked the passenger door. She got in, bringing with her the scent of rain and something else, something faintly sweet and oddly metallic. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice a low whisper that was almost lost in the sound of the storm. She didn't offer her name nor her destination. John, unsure what to say, simply nodded and put the truck back in gear. As he drove, he stole glances at his passenger. She sat very still, her gaze fixed on something beyond the windshield. Her hands, pale and delicate, rested on her lap, clutching a small, worn leather handbag. The silence in the truck was heavy, broken only by the rhythmic thud of the wipers. John tried to make conversation, to ease the tension that hung in the air. They drove in silence, the only sound the relentless rain and the hum of the engine. The woman didn't speak, didn't move, didn't even seem to blink. John felt a growing unease. He just wanted to get this woman to wherever she was going and be done with this strange encounter. He soon found himself pulling into a brightly lit gas station, needing to fill up. "I'll be right back," he said to the woman, more out of habit than anything else. He didn't expect a response, and he didn't get one. John filled the tank, his mind still replaying the woman's strange demeanor. He paid the cashier, his gaze drawn back to the truck, but something was wrong. The passenger door was open and the woman was gone. He ran back to the truck, heart pounding. He checked the back seat, the floor, everywhere. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. John drove home, the events at the gas station replaying in his mind. He couldn't shake off the feeling of unease, the unsettling image of the woman's pale face and those intense eyes. Had he imagined the whole thing? He reached his house, the familiar sight oddly comforting. He locked the door behind him, the solid click of the latch doing little to ease his anxiety. He couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched, the hairs on the back of his neck standing on end. That night he lay in bed, sleep evading him. He kept seeing the woman's face in the darkness, hearing the soft murmur of her voice. Then he heard it. A soft scratching sound coming from the window. It was like fingernails dragging down the glass. He shot up in bed, heart pounding. The scratching continued, slow and deliberate. He jumped out of bed and rushed to the window, ripping back the curtains. But there was nothing there, just the dark, rain-lashed street beyond. John tried to rationalize it. It must have been a branch swaying in the wind. He tried to convince himself he was just tired, his mind playing tricks on him. John stared at the marks, his blood running cold. It wasn't a branch, it wasn't his imagination. Something had been out there, something that had been in his truck, something that was now outside his window. He packed his bags, a frantic energy propelling him. He couldn't stay here, not anymore. The house, once his sanctuary, now felt oppressive, suffocating. The claw marks on the window a chilling reminder that he wasn't alone. He drove away without looking back, the image of the woman's pale face seared into his mind. The rain had stopped, the sun trying to break through the clouds. But for John, the world seemed a little darker, a little colder.